And hello, everyone, and welcome to Learn a Trade. My name is Kevin Tate. Thank you for joining me today. Today, I'm trying something a little different, just kind of using a screen share. I ended up running into some issues with my desktop, so I'm waiting for some parts for that, and then once I get that back up, then I will be able to, do a little more as far as sharing screens and with you and stuff like that. But for right now, I'm gonna try this one here and see if I can just share a few pictures that I have taken on a Turbo Chef job. This video is titled Turbo Chef Repair Overview. So I'm just going to be going over a few things on this Turbo Chef. If you look at it in the image, it looks like it's done. It's had it. I mean, you could see steam damage up top to the touch pad. You can see where the steam has damaged the touchpad. You can see steam damage on the bottom left side of the door, and that basically is just all burnt grease over time. And trust me, this one here, this unit here probably is like 2015 to 2017, I would say. But this is for those who aren't aware of the Turbo Chef ovens, they have a few different models. This model here is called the Encore model. A lot of the Turbo Chefs that you will see in some of the convenience stores or C stores that some of you may do jobs in or go to the convenience stores often. You see these types of ovens, and a lot of them now have changed over to the what they call the bullet model. It's like a silver, stainless steel, silver looking oven, and that's the type that you'll mainly see in there. So, I just figured I'd go over this one just to do like an overview on some things that I found in here, because I visited this site after another technician had been there. So I found a few things, and I figure, let me share it with you all, because it's common things that happen when you're not really aware of the equipment that you're working on. And this is, again, why training is so important. It's, a lot of, I'm starting to feel like a lot of people take for granted this type of work, and they just think like anyone can just jump in there and do it if you have some mechanical ability and stuff like that. And that is true in a way, but the other thing is there's a lot of different types of equipment. There's thousands of different types of equipment in the commercial industry. So you're not going to know it all. You're not going to know it all. Even if you may think you know some of the steps in servicing this equipment, the best thing to do is get all the training you can. Get the manuals. Look at the videos that I'm putting out there, and that Mike Reed's putting out there, and Mike Sneed and others that are trying to show you some of the ins and outs on this commercial side, because it's not just as simple as some people think it is, and there's a lot to it. So, that's just a little advice. And before I get into it, I'm going to thank all of the channel members. Thank you. I thank the website members. Thank you all. And I thank all of the viewers, everyone viewing this channel, um, anyone new that's viewing this channel. I thank you for watching. And I hope you get something out of this. If you're not too familiar with Turbo Chefs, then maybe this will help you kind of understand some of the stuff. So let me just get into it a little bit. I'm going to be starting and stopping here. But look at this one here. This is the door, the cook cavity. On some of the paperwork and in the invoice, not invoices, but in the service manuals and stuff like that, this particular area would probably be abbreviated CC for cook cavity. So that's something to remember. But like, you can tell that this has been used and abused. I mean, this, you already know that it hasn't been PM'd. It hasn't been maintained well at all. And it probably started a long time ago. It's not anyone's in particular fault, but it's just the thing that this is the stuff that happens to equipment when it's not maintained. So, take a look at it. You see all of the built-in, burnt-in grease and scorch marks around the metal section, the metal frame of the cook cavity. That stuff is supposed to be cleaned up like every day, if not every day, every other day. Usually the way it works, just to kind of give you a little input on these systems, usually the way it works in these C-stores, a lot of them are open 24/7, okay? So they're open 24/7, and they usually designate the night shift, okay, the overnight shift, okay, 12 to 7 or 12 to 6. But that third shift, usually the third shift people are responsible for shutting that oven down and then letting it cool. And then when it gets down to a cool mode, they take the Turbo Chef cleaner and spray around those areas where you see the burnt black, burnt in grease there. They're supposed to spray around there, wipe it all down good, and then inside the cook cavity, they're supposed to clean that. They're supposed to take that stone, that cooking stone out, and not submerge it. The important thing with these cooking stones is they're not to be submerged in water. You have to wipe those down with a damp cloth. Okay, so that stuff's supposed to be done every day or every other day, and you can tell by the looks of this that it never happened at this location. It just never happened, and this is the effects of it. And the thing is like, sure, the franchisee, the owner, he wants a new oven. He definitely wants a new oven. But do you think that corporate is gonna take a look at this oven and say, "Oh, we'll give him a brand new $20,000 to $30,000 oven that he hasn't taken care of this one as it is"? So this is the thing that happens. So now places like this are down to where you're pretty much they're on the edge right here. Like there's no telling when this oven is just gonna shut down completely on them. Today, went to this location, and um, the technician that was there before me wasn't able to fix it. He did replace some parts though, and but he still wasn't able to fix it, and I'm going to show you why in a minute. But he wasn't able to fix it. He changed a high volt transformer. He changed a magnetron, and I believe he may have changed a 20 amp fuse as well. But within all of that, I'm going to show you some things that really that will help you out to not run into the same issue as this person did, and hopefully it'll help. Okay, so right up here we got the electrical compartment. Okay, you have on the very back there, you have your three blower fans, cooling fans rather. The two cooling fans on the end, and I've gone over this a number of times in past videos, so you can always go to Turbo Chef playlist, Turbo Chef Repair playlist on this channel, and you'll be able to see like all of the Turbo Chef repair videos that I've done in the past, as well as the more recent ones. But back to this, you have your two cooling fans for the magnetrons on the end. They're the two outside fans. That center fan is the fan for the electrical compartment. So when this oven heats up, it heats up to 500 degrees. Sometimes you'll see it at around 510 degrees. So it's very hot, and when it gets cooking, that whole area is closed in with a panel, so it gets very hot in there. So these cooling fans help keep those components cooled down, and those two end fans, they keep those magnetrons cooled down as well, so it doesn't overheat. And there are a number of temp sensors in this electrical compartment, so that when it does get overheated, say from probably a clogged air filter, if it gets overheated from something like that, then it'll give a warning, and then it'll shut down for EC temp too high. That means the electrical compartment's too high. And let me just see if I could show you in this section here. If you look right here, this red wire is on the wrong terminal. On these magnetrons, you're going to have one terminal is going to be labeled F, and the other terminal is going to be labeled FA. Okay, and the way that I remember it is the red wire always goes to the FA terminal. Okay, and that was one of the first things I noticed when I came in on this job, because the red wire is on the F terminal and the black wire is on the FA terminal. So those have to be swapped over. I'm going to show you in another few clips. Back here this is the high voltage transformer that they changed, and it was wired wrong on the primary side. The primary side was wired wrong, so I had to fix that wiring on that. And let me see if there was anything else that I found up there. Yeah, that was it. But everything else was wired right, and everything else tested okay. But the thing was that, excuse me, with doing that miswire on here, and the miswire here. Oh, that just reminded me. Yeah, there. This actually, this wire, this red wire, is supposed to be going to the capacitor, which is right here, and this red wire is supposed to be going to the magnetron. That's the other miswire that they did. So usually, just as a tip, if you ever get where you're working on these and they seem you had to replace a magnetron or something, um, it's always good to look at your other your other transformer. These are your filament transformers, by the way. The smaller transformers are your filament transformers. But if you're ever in a situation where you think something's miswired, just take a look at the other filament transformer, and then you'll be able to notice that uh, the wire going to the magnetron is coming from number 5, and the wire that's going to the capacitor is coming from number 4. So you wanna try to uh, mirror those. You want to make sure that they're wired the same way, okay? And you definitely want to make sure you have your wiring correct on the transformers, or else that's going to automatically cause you problems, and it's not that hard because the terminals are numbered on top of the transformer, and then each wire has a sticker on it that has T1 for transformer 1 dash 1, T1 dash 2, T1 dash 3, and that's it. It's right up here, 1, 2, and 3. So that's how you want to match it up. This person had the T1 on the T2, and then the T2 on the T1. So that's totally throwing off the high voltage circuit, and that's what primarily caused the fuse to blow, the 20 amp fuse to blow. So hopefully that's somewhat clear. Let me just see if we got any more. Yeah, that right there is I'm showing you that blue wire that I'm holding. That blue wire was on terminal number 2, and you can see it says T1-1. Okay, so that's where a big issue that's going to cause a major issue, and you won't be able to fix it. And that's what happened with this person. They had miswired it, and somehow didn't realize it afterwards. I mean, it's always good to go back and double check your wiring in any case, but that's not what happened. And it's good because that was a new transformer, and it's possible that that transformer could overheat and get damaged. Okay, and then another thing on these Encores, um, I know it's probably not that clear. The screen is just so messed up, but that's the fault log, okay? And if you look, you have there's a number of faults there. Just looking at it, I could see there's about 4 or 5 error codes on different levels here. So you got F1 error code, you got 3, F2, which is low temp. You got, looks like 8 of those. F3, low mag era. You got 20 of those. F5, mag over temp. That means the magnetron's over temp is too hot, so it's overheating. And you got 37 of those. And then down below you have F8, which is heat exchange low, HX low, and they have about 30 of those. So with them, with that showing up, that's another sign that someone did not really know how to work with this equipment, because on these Encores, the main thing one of the main things you want to do is you want to clear out those errors, especially after you replace parts and stuff like that. You want to clear those errors out. And a reason for that is mainly because if somebody comes behind you and they take a look at that, they're going to think like, they might think like that's a lot of errors in a short time, because they're probably, when you're working on turbo chef, sometimes you just assume that the last person cleared out the errors, zeroed them out. And if they don't, they just start building up. So you really don't know for sure if that F5 is 37 in the last day or so, or was it 37 over a 6-month span, you know? So always keep in mind that you want to zero out your error codes. You can zero out those error codes just by, when you're on this screen, you can just go to the side keypad with the numbers on it and just press 0, and then it'll zero out, and then you can press back, and then it'll go back, so you could go back to your main screen. And then there, I'm just showing you how I cleared out that error code, those error codes. See if I can go back in case you didn't see it. That right there, you just go, you're in the fault log. You don't have to go anywhere. You just gotta reach over, touch the 0 button, and zero out all of those errors. That way, that fault log's starting off fresh. And then if there's any error codes, if somebody has to go back there tomorrow or the next day, they're gonna see, oh, okay, there's still no errors, or they're gonna say, oh, there's 2 F5 errors, you know, and then that'll, you know, that kind of helps the other technician, and it helps you as far as if you ever have to return the calls. So just to keep that in mind. And then this is another one here. This is the exhaust pan for the Turbo Chef. Now, excuse me, I have to explain that these exhaust tubes and exhaust pans, these are specifically for 7-Eleven sites. So this may be something that in your area, it depends. If it's like not a 7-Eleven store or something, if you're working on a Turbo Chef, you may not have one that has an exhaust assembly on it, because these exhaust assemblies were special made for 7-Eleven stores specifically, because they requested them. So the thing with these exhaust pans is there's supposed to be water in these pans, and you'll find a lot of your customers, if you go around and you check the ovens and you're doing PMs and stuff, a lot of these pans you'll find that they leave them empty. You'll find that they have damage. They get these little pitted holes in them in the bottom, and then they just leak out. So then the franchisee doesn't want to spend the money to purchase another exhaust pan, so they just won't put any water in there at all. And then after a while, the oven starts building up grease on the inside, because this was made for that exhaust, that grease and the exhaust to go into the pan, and the water will absorb all of the exhaust, will absorb most of the exhaust, I should say. So that was the purpose of these water pans. So when you have older ovens, you'll find a lot of them like this, or they'll be pitted, they'll have holes in the bottom. And in that case, when you run into that owner or that franchisee, they need to purchase a new exhaust pan. You know, they need to do it, because if they don't, they're gonna end up losing more later on. You know, so those are a few things that I wanted to go over on this video, and I hope it was helpful. I know it's a little different from anything that I have done in the past, but I hope it's helpful to you all, and I look forward to doing more of these videos for you. And that's all I have for now. I appreciate you all watching. Thank you. Take care and stay well.